Was calling in because I was going to be court watching for a James Morales in his hearing, and I'm supposed to start at 1:15 to the best of my knowledge, and I still am in a waiting mode. Is that hearing going on right now or not?
It is going on right now, sir, but Judge Alvarez has made it only in person.
Only in person, because is there no Zoom link? Are both of the litigants in person?
Yes, sir.
So when was that announced? I mean, that was supposed to be a Zoom, because she had a Zoom proceeding. They had a Zoom proceeding, not Alvarez, but the other person. I can't remember, Judge Stryker had a Zoom the other day. So you're not basically. This was just something that was recently announced. Then is that correct? Did they just make this today in person, or when was this actually done in person?
When was what?
When was the decision?
This afternoon that this hearing was going to be in person only.
Okay, because she needs to provide the public reasonable access in something like that and reasonable notice. Is she familiar with Judge Roy Fergusons' background and legal standards of the public right to access remote hearings during the COVID-19 pandemic?
I don't know if she's familiar with that, sir.
Because this comes from Judge Roy Ferguson, and this was issued on March 13th, 2020, to the best of my knowledge. This is still going on, but basically the emergency order recognizes the public's right to reasonable notice and access to court proceedings, both civil and criminal. We should have been given some type of notice so that we could be there in person, and she is violating. This is coming from like I said, from Judge Roy Ferguson, from the Office of the Court Administration. I didn't know if she was aware of that or not, but she's in violation, and this whole thing can be overturned on constitutional grounds, whatever takes place here. This is a real big deal. This is the court's affirmative burden. The court's affirmative burden, not mine, but the court's, to ensure meaningful and unfettered access to court proceedings. If you'd like, I can send you a copy of this. If you provide me an email address, because this is a big issue. I've been talking about this issue for a long time. I've spoken with people on the justices on the Supreme Court. I've spoken with individuals. I've spoken with lawyers, with media. I also am a member. I do things with the media as well. And this is a very grave constitutional issue that's taking place right now. So I'm just wondering, is she unaware of this? Because again, I mean, the courts must find a practical and effective way to enable public access to virtual court proceedings, and it's her burden to tell us that they're not going to be. Choosing not to provide reasonable and meaningful public access to remote court proceedings at this time may equate to constitutional error and mandate reversal. So I know that there's several of us that were planning to be watching just to make sure that, because we know what happens in these Star Chamber courts. We've seen it. I've been to well over 100 cases throughout the state of Texas. And this is why I'm going down to talk with the Supreme Court about this issue. We've been talking with legislators about this issue. We're having a documentary coming out soon. Actually, 2 documentaries coming out soon. And this is a very big issue. And I'm sure that Judge Alvarez would not want to be on the wrong side of this. So, like I said, I will be filing my own complaint. I know that there are several other people that are in the process of this right now. And I guess I'd like an explanation as to what's going on here.
You want me to give you an explanation as to if Judge Alvarez knows about this or not?
Well, both that and why she has decided not to notify the public that this was going to be in person instead of virtual. As of the other day, it was going to be virtual, which is why we are here to observe the court. Had we known it was going to be in person, we could have been there in person. So she's trying to hide the person.
Why she made the decision, that is up to her.
It's,
she in previous days, because I am not the normal person.
No, I understand that, but she is not the Constitution.
I can't answer those questions for you.
Okay, but just so that she's aware of it, because Judge Alvarez is not the Constitution. The Judge Alvarez also has ethics that she needs to go by. She needs to also adhere to the Constitution. She cannot just do her own thing. And that's why I wanted to know what was going on here. And, Judge Alvarez has put herself in a pretty precarious place right now, especially if anything happens that Morales is put into jail. This is a very, very serious issue. And that's why we were watching, because we have watched Jeffrey Bernstein. We have reports on him. We have other people that are planning to file complaints against him as well. And again, I personally will be going down to Austin on September the 16th. I'll have at least half a dozen people with me. So I'm just letting you know that this is a very, very important issue. We are not letting this go lightly. And I would hope that Judge Alvarez would be aware of the issue. I'm being very courteous in this phone call, but very firm at the same time. We have seen a lot of judicial corruption, a lot of judicial misdeeds. We've seen attorneys and judges that have personal relationships with each other, where judges actually rule because they know the attorney, as Judge Alvarez knows Jeffrey Bernstein very, very well. Jeffrey Bernstein has donated to her and everything else. So this is a big issue. And, the upcoming hearing on September the 16th is a public hearing. It will be primarily focusing on attorneys, but I've also addressed the issue with different justices of the Supreme Court regarding judges. I've also spoken directly with the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. We have legislation coming out against this stuff. At least I believe we have legislation. I've also proposed to write some. It's just a very big, important issue, because the courts cannot be trusted in the state of Texas. And whatever Judge Alvarez decides, she is not a dictator. She is a servant of the people. She's paid by taxpayers. And she also has constitutional constraints upon her. And if she chooses to disregard them, she has to accept the consequences.
Okay, was there anything else?
No. Do you need my number? Do you need my email, anything like that? I'll be very glad to give it to you if she wants to contact me personally.
I have your name and number, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for taking my call and interacting with me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much. Bye now.